Hey guys, welcome to another Dru Story News podcast. And sorry I left you guys for a little bit, a week or two, because man, I am busy. Oh man, a lot of things going on. Well, for those who know a lot of what I do, I'm a voiceover actor, and in the era of COVID, my business has tripled, because everything is remote now. So there's more audio books, infomercials, e-learning courses, you name it. And I'm in demand. And I kind of have a sore throat. So I'm kind of taking it easy. So I'm also going to try to keep this brief. Also, something a little exciting. I'm actually working on 2 music projects. One is a passion project. One is a professional project. Long story short, I've been pushed and prodded by so many people pushing me to do this thing that it's years long overdue, and I'm gonna get her done. I've been putting some of my passion projects on the back burner and not getting them done, and I promised a lot of people, including my niece, to that I'm going to have it done by a certain time, by my birthday. I'm going to have it done, and I've committed to that. When I give you my word, I'm going to do something. I'm going to do it. So I promised that, and I'm also going to be making an album it's a professional project that's also kind of a passion project. I want to do both these things. So yeah, with work and music, and I'm just really in deep. I haven't really been on social media, but I am aware of what's going on. Well, a lot of us in the truth communities know exactly what's going on, and we're just watching things play out. This is going to be wild. And I see the comments, I see people asking where's the next video and all that stuff. So I don't mean to leave you guys high and dry. So I'm going to come back in today and just run down a few things. Don't panic, but don't be surprised to just see more craziness play out and something wild about to happen. Brace yourself. Just know that a lot of these things are meant to happen. It's a part of their plan and their agenda. And, don't stress out. Don't panic. But things are getting crazy and will get a little crazier. And something will happen. But not to worry. It is what it is. You have to do the same things to take care of yourself and just, stay grounded. Just try not to obsess with what they're telling you in the news, and they're still sensationalizing fake COVID statistics. There's still, there's going to be a lot of public theater. Just try not to obsess about these things. That's what they want. The system wants you emotional and wound up in all their isms and schisms. So try not to do that. But guys, if you haven't noticed already, we are in the zombie apocalypse right now. There's not so many people who know what is going on planet Earth. And if you're one of those people who do know what's going on planet Earth, you know that most people do not. And it's hard to even have a conversation with anyone because you're just better off not doing it. Currently, people are walking by themselves up and down the streets in face masks, in the full belief that they need the face mask because they don't have an education or knowledge of real holistic health and science. They're doing what they're told and what they're programmed to believe by the quote-unquote experts. Don't debate people on this because they'll get angry and they'll regurgitate the programming and the things that they're being told by the experts and the things that they've just been inundated with for the past several months. And this is very Orwellian. This is 1984, guys. What we're witnessing is this mass inability to think or reason. And the programming and pervasive ignorance is just emboldened and arrogant. And it's impatient with anyone that's saying what I'm saying right now. So your best bet is to stay off social media, don't engage people. Just don't. It's like people don't know what's going on. It's way over people's heads what's happening, and you're not going to convince anybody of anything, so don't try. Those of you who know what's going on, we're going into smaller groups and we're talking amongst the like-minded and people who know what's happening. If you follow my Instagram or my Facebook, really, I keep posting about certain things, and it's mainly about the COVID agenda and the vaccine, and you're seeing fewer and fewer people, being responsive to that. But I don't care because I'm talking to the people who see what's going on. The main fight that we have on our hands is this COVID agenda, and this involves pretty much everyone on the planet. This is the first time that I've seen something like this, where it's not just a black thing, it's not a white thing. Everyone is subject to this agenda, and it's not good. They are they're attempting to pull off the most satanic, unethical power grab, totalitarian power grab. And, seemingly it's working because they own the mind of the people. They're walking around in masks. They're welcoming lockdowns and curfews and restrictions, and they love the government. They love the totalitarian takeover right before their eyes. Just like every dystopian book, movie we watched, it's playing out right before the people, and they can't see what's going on. It's very, very disturbing. But many of us in the truth communities have known what was going to happen for a long time. And now things are merely coming into fruition, and most of the population still does not have a clue what's happening because they never really bother to look at anything other than mainstream media news. So how are they going to know anything? Here's a video of investigative journalist Harry Fox speaking in 2014 about information public in 2010. So this is way before the outbreak of COVID. Pretty much laying everything out. Listen.
The ruling establishment has a lot of, they will stop at nothing to complete their toolkit of control, right? So one of the things that has been missing from the toolkit of total control has been quarantines and curfews, right? Mm-hmm. So now, welcome to the new world in America, where to get on a bus, to go through a subway station, if you think that the procedures at the TSA are onerous, right? Guess this is coming to a bus depot near you. It's a more invasive way, and the ruling class needs this because, let me say, if the ruling class ever saw wide-scale civil unrest, you'd see an Ebola outbreak in America right away.
Okay, so this is, what you see is that Ebola is
another tool in the toolbox of the ruling class control.
Yeah, to keep down
absolutely,
repression.
positively, 100%. This is a tool.
Right.
Ebola doesn't just magically start spreading. Mm-hmm. And then we have this doctors that come back here. The white people, of course, live. Mm-hmm. The two whites who got it survived. All the black people that get it die. Right? It's very possible that these one of these NGOs over there is going around with a veil of Ebola or spreading it from a small plane onto villages. The point is to get hundreds of thousands of people infected with it and create the next phase of control. Now, one of the things I'd like to show to back up my my claims here. Here's a document from the Rockefeller Foundation. Rockefeller Foundation, right there. You can zoom in on that, where my finger is. It's called Scenarios for the Future International Development, the Rockefeller Foundation. All right. Okay. Let's take a look at what they're saying here. This is something like a 50, 60-page document. I'd like you to go to page 18, if you can look at this up on the internet, but I'll read it off to you. It's called lockstep, lockstep. And this is a phrase that I used right after 2001 when I saw the entire system of the United States, including the population, were in lockstep. So the Congress went along, and yes, it was Osama bin Laden, and the people waved their flag and said, I hate, 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 and everything was in lockstep. Well, in 2010, they published this, Rockefeller Foundation, and here's what they're saying. They're saying that they call it a scenario. These are scenario narratives, and they speak about it in the past tense. So they put out this scenario, lockstep. A world of tighter, top-down government control and more authoritarian leadership with limited innovation and growing citizen pushback. Okay, I'll read a little bit of it. In 2012, the pandemic that the world had been anticipating for years, nobody was anticipating a pandemic, finally hit. Unlike 2009's H1N1, this new influenza strain originating from wild geese, they use some scenario, but this is Ebola they're talking about.
Ahead.
Even the most pandemic-prepared nations were quickly overwhelmed when the virus streaked around the world, infecting nearly 20% of the global population and killing 8 million in just 7 months, the majority of them healthy young adults. The pandemic also had a deadly effect on economies. You can see the agenda. Just naked, raw, naked control agenda written down, and it's anybody's guess how this becomes effectuated in real life. So whether this is written specifically as marching orders or whether people take it upon themselves in the intelligence networks to say, okay, well, this has been produced, so this is the plan here. But these narratives have to be written in advance because the intelligence agencies don't know how to do these narratives. They need help. So these think tanks, they come up with these, like Rand Corporation, Rockefeller Foundation. These are think tanks of death. The think tanks, they're not there to find great ways to help people. Right? Okay, the pandemic also had a deadly effect on economics. International mobility of both people and goods screeched to a halt. Which is what they want. They want a completely isolated world, right? Debilitating industries like tourism and breaking global supply chains. Well, of course they want tourism stopped because they're not in the tourism business, and they want you at home in your house in front of the TV. Then they got you, because once you watch the TV, they own your soul. Even locally.
Wait a second, we're on television.
I mean commercial television, let's say. National. Even locally, normally bustling shops and offices sat empty for months. Okay, so I love how they talk about it in the past tense in 2010. Right? The pandemic blanketed the planet, though disproportionate numbers in Africa died. Southeast Asia and Central America, where the virus spread like wildfire.
It sounds like the opening monologue of a disaster movie, right?
Exactly. Now listen to, here's the good stuff now. But even in developed countries, containment was a challenge. Now here's this one. I love this one. The United States' initial policy of strongly discouraging, in quotation marks, strongly discouraging citizens from flying proved deadly in its leniency. So they're saying, that...
No, keep going.
Okay,
read it.
Proved deadly in its leniency. So they should have been tougher, right? Accelerating the spread of the virus, not just within the United States, but across borders. However, a few countries did fare better. China in particular. The Chinese government's quick imposition and enforcement of mandatory quarantine for all citizens, as well as its instant and near hermetic sealing off of all borders, saved millions of lives, stopping the spread of virus far earlier than in other countries. So the message is here is we have to look towards the Chinese, the oppressive totalitarian Chinese regime as an example of what we need to be doing here. And of course, the ruling class here loves the Chinese regime because they have demonstrated to the ruling class the most efficient form of capitalism, which is authoritarian capitalism. So we have capitalism, but unfortunately we have this veil.
I get it.
We have this veil of democracy.
This is very interesting. This is continue on.
Okay. China's government was not the only one that took extreme measures to protect its citizens from risk and exposure. During the pandemic, national leaders around the world flexed their muscles, flexed their authority, and imposed airtight rules and restrictions. You can see the agenda.
Go.
Okay. From the mandatory wearing of face masks to body temperature checks at the entries to communal spaces like
that's what's happening right now.
Yeah, but soon it's going to be like body.
It'll be at the subway.
Yeah, is that what
you're saying? We'll be going through this in the to get on buses and the subway,
absolutely,
things
positively.
like that.
And what this means though is don't think about having a cigarette, a joint on you, or I mean, basically you can't. this is a dragnet for everything. So if in order for you
in other words, just like with stop and frisk, this is ultimate stop and frisk.
This is the ultimate cavity stop and frisk, cavity search kind of thing. All right. So during the pandemic, national leaders around the world flex their authority. You know, now there's some good stuff. Listen to this. And even supermarkets, they want body checks at supermarkets. Okay, so basically what they're saying is they're building a system where every move you make, you got to go through them.
You can't get food. Well, how about if you go to the farmer's market?
Right. Here's the good stuff now. I mean, it just keeps getting better. Even after the pandemic faded, this more authoritarian control and oversight of citizens and their activities stuck.
Those who can see and hear will see and hear. Those who can't won't. Don't worry about it. What they're prepping for is a new world order in which they're going to try to let's talk about the new way of mandating things. They're not going to mandate things because the government knows they can't. It's against the Constitution. But what they're doing now is just like with the face masks, which is all about pagan ritual and social conditioning. What they're doing is they're not mandating it because they know that it's against the law. They can't. They're lying to you and telling. I think in some buses and train stations they say it's the law when that's a flat out lie. It's not the law, but they're so smooth, they're so satanic, and they're so sinister in their ways of lying. You notice no politician or person is saying these things, but they'll make posters and they'll do it on the bus or in the supermarket. It's the law to program you, but it's not the law. It's all against the law. They can't do that. They can't mandate any of this stuff. So what they're doing is they're not mandating it, but the private businesses are requiring it. You have to wear a mask in an Uber. You have to wear a mask in a supermarket, the bank. This is the new way of mandating things. So there's tricks within tricks within tricks. So no, they're not going to mandate things, but everywhere is going to require it. That is exactly what they're trying to do, what they're going to do with the vaccine. They have this disgusting, toxic, poisonous, experimental vaccine with the new mRNA technology in it and the nanotechnology in it that has never been in any other vaccine before. So there's no years of efficacy with which to know what the hell it's going to do to you. So they're doing this mass experiment on you, and they're going to make it mandatory. And businesses, Ticketmaster, all these facilities and businesses and institutions and employers are going to require your vaccination status, your vaccination card. And this is the new way of mandating things. Okay, the government is not going to do it. Joe Biden, like Joey Suzu, the snakish, pathological liar that devoted 50 years of his political career toward mass incarceration of black and brown people, is currently masquerading as the good guy and the good president to be because Trump is going up in flames. And Biden is going to promise, he's going to say, well, we're not going to mandate it, but he knows what's going to happen and he knows what they're going to do. He and his administration and the governors and the mayors, they're going to try desperately hard to get as many people vaccinated as possible. They're going to fail because there's a lot of people that just don't want to get this vaccine, including doctors, nurses, and medical staff all across the nation. But they're going to keep pushing. And what they're starting to do, they're borrowing a lot of the things that China was doing. And this is very scary. This is very bad, what is happening in this nation. We've all become fascist nations. And they're going to leave your rights intact, but they're going to make it very difficult for you not to get vaccinated because they're going to beat you over the head with restrictions and limitations, and you can't travel, you can't work. They're going to really just set the stage for forcing you to get vaccinated, basically. So this is going to be the fight that is going to be in the near future. And amidst all this chaos, you have people around you who are completely mindless, clueless. They don't understand anything. They don't understand the social conditioning. For example, they think they love the masks. They just love the masks, and they don't understand that it's social conditioning. I got an email from Uber the other day. I was standing outside. It was late at night, and I could have sworn the Uber driver just passed me by, and then another one just passed me by. And I'm like, what the hell? Is this some kind of, what's going on? So I got fed up and just chose Lyft, and then I jumped into a Lyft. And the thing is, I actually did have a face covering, and because I bring one with me all the time, not because I believe in wearing it, because I don't believe things. I know things, and I know that we don't need to be wearing face masks. But, you know, when you're moving out and about amongst the normies, I don't want to be disrespectful. I don't want anyone to feel uncomfortable. So, you know what? I wear the mask for a little bit. It's not a mask. It's a gardiere. And it just makes people feel comfortable because they just, you know, the sheep need these things. So I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but I don't wear it on my face walking around because that's not healthy to do that, breathing in your own carbon dioxide for long periods of times. When I am not sick with any symptoms and I am not deliberately working amongst the sick, those would be two somewhat reasonable reasons to wear a face mask or walk around with a face mask on. So when I'm going into an establishment that's requiring masks, I limit the time that I have that damn thing on because it's not healthy to walk around in a face mask, breathing in your own CO2. You know, that's science. I just don't wear it on my face when I'm getting when the car comes, I'll pull it up. I'll look at the driver, see if he's cool or not. And maybe not, but if, you know, people are concerned, I pull up the thing. Long story short, I don't wear it on the street. I wear it as I get into the vehicle. Anyway, Uber sends me an email, ignorantly not knowing any of what I just told you, that people don't have to wear masks on the street. Now, you see how the Matrix works? When you watch the movie The Matrix, people who are not awake, they are a part of the Matrix. That's what some of the Uber drivers, like the one I had, are doing now. They're working for the Matrix. They're working for the system because they're weak. They will bend and obey and work for the Matrix. These are the people you need to watch out for in the days ahead because they're dangerous. If you don't obey and comply to the new rules, they'll treat you like a second-class citizen because that's how the system is molding them to deny humanity. And they are clueless. They don't know what's going on. So they told on me. Be ready for this. This is the future. This is the new world. So the Uber driver just assumed I didn't have a mask when that was not true and told on me to the system. So Uber sends me an email saying, our driver skipped your ride because you were not wearing a mask. And this long email. And I'm just reading this email, like laughing at these moronic people. Like, they're so committed to this bullshit. And I'm just looking at this email like, wow. And if people don't understand that this is not about COVID, this is your social conditioning, and they're going to social condition you right over to vaccination, the New World Order with the IDs. They're going to continue with their Luciferian agendas, and they're going to make it very uncomfortable for people who are not complying with the agenda. It's not about COVID. You will bend on your knees and do what they tell you. And hey, I mean, the sheep are happy to bend. And a lot of the people giving you a hard time in your enemy, is going to be a lot of the brain dead zombies running around in face masks that have no clue what is going on and cannot free their minds. They're also going to make it very hard for you. They're running out right now. They're getting vaccinated. They're posting pictures how proud they are that they got vaccinated and the system owns them. And they're going to, cooperate and comply. And any lockdowns, any curfews, they feel that they're doing good. They're good. And those of you who are resisting are going to be demonized and attacked. And no, it is not just Trump supporters. That's why they're going so hard on the demonization of the Trump supporter. They've done exceptionally well making the conscious citizen who wants to preserve their rights and not have to be kicked out of places because they're not wearing face masks when they are not sick. People who are objecting to these lockdowns and curfews and things that they're doing because they're violations of human rights. Unethical, unconstitutional, and unwarranted. No, they are not looked at as wise, high vibrational citizens that see the bigger picture and see the lines crossed and see what's going on. No, they're looked at as probably Trump supporters, racists. And yes, a lot of people of this mindset do happen to be Trump supporters, and a lot of them self-proclaimed patriots and so on and so forth. But not everybody. There are so many people who know what's going on and are not with this demonic agenda. It's not just Trump supporters. And the powers that be that control the narrative in the media have been painting that picture that it's just racist Trump supporters running around. No, globally, people understand what's happening and they don't want this. They see the totalitarian takeover. They see the rules, the information collection, the surveillance. They see the new world order. Most people don't, because the system owns them. The matrix owns them. They are under mind control, and their minds are conditioned, and they might never wake up. And you have to be prepared for that. How do you prepare for that? The revolution is not really about running around in the streets, protesting and tearing things up. The revolution begins with your mind, freeing your mind and being in control, knowing what you will and won't do, unplugging from the matrix. When everyone around you is talking gibberish and nonsense, don't fight. Don't argue with people. Don't engage people. When they don't understand, leave them alone. And those people who seem a little bit curious and seem a little bit open in their minds can handle certain information, you can plant seeds and you can try to work on those people. But the people who are gone, they're gone. Leave them where they are. It's not your job to shake people up. Don't make yourself distraught and feed the system your energy. Save yourself. You're a part of the silent but growing minority of people who know what's going on. People who are fighting with their mind from within and not complying to this madness. Now let's talk about Trump. Oh, Trump. This is going according to plan, guys. I know that people don't understand that, and there was a lot of people who were just stuck on this Trump train, and they cannot be saved. But guys, you should know that the propaganda, the psych wars, they're mentalist, and the level of trickery is so high level, so advanced that it's astounding. They're playing the Trump card and they're controlling people's mind. All of a sudden, government is good, by the way, all of a sudden, because people are so brainless. They just control you. And, they fan the flames on this Trump hate. And everybody hates Trump, and he's the bad guy, and he's crazy, and he's, causing chaos. Yet you're being corralled into loving the government and preserving the system. You love Nancy Pelosi, you love Mitch McConnell, and you want to keep them safe. And how dare these Trumpers And now everyone loves Big Brother now. Everyone loves government. It's Trump. He's threatening our democracy. And now, down in D.C., there are troops all over the place, the National Guard. There's troops all over D.C. This is what we are bringing into America, a new world where we are normalizing fascism and militarized events and curfews, lockdowns. They're playing you. And the people are so brilliantly divided and locked into different schools of thought and controlled. It's amazing. The only way out of this and out of the matrix is if you raise your vibration and you learn to be a better person. Raising your vibration gets you out of the matrix. Racists lose. They're going down. They're going to get obliterated with the system. And if you are a racist, you are in a program and they control you. For example, racism is one of the division tactics. Black Lives Matter protests, anything involving black people and protesting, the police act like savage thugs. And they beat people, they spray things, and, dominant society looks the other way. We don't see nothing. And what they do in their demonic racism is they just explain everything. Blue Lives Matter, they side with the cops, and you lost. When you're a racist, you're low vibrational, you're going to lose because the system owns you. And now, when white people are standing up for things, the only thing that people talk about on the black side of the fence and white media, liberal media, is pointing out the difference with reaction and treatment of white protesters. And it's true, the treatment is different, significantly different, and it's disgusting. And that's why it's going to come back around. You are going to pay. Society on the foundation of racism is going to crumble. And the system in place knows that it's doing this intentionally. They're not trying to hide it. They would like you to see it and notice the difference. Then you're going to focus on that. And this is why no one comes together. The system wins when we do this because people are racist and they want to be racist. You live like a hypocrite, a demonic, lying hypocrite. And now when something spins around, we talk about the double standards. We talk about, the unfairness. This is why racism is such a useful tool for the ruling class, as is politics. All these things are used to keep the people divided, low vibrational, and on separate sides and teams. That's why no one's ever really worried about the banking system or anything that really matters, because we're running around in circles, emotionally triggered and mad at each other. And now we've come to an era in which the divisions are being used for their intended purpose, like never before. Case in point, there was a news clip of a woman, a white woman, who was tackled by a police officer and tased because she wouldn't wear a face mask. Now, everybody did not see the same thing. Depending on who you are, you had a completely different reaction.
Of course, amid the debate over masks in this country, the school is asking parents to please wear a mask when coming to cheer on your children at sporting events. Tonight, the Ohio mother who refused and what then happened. Here's Clayton Sandell.
Tonight, a woman who refused to wear a face mask at an Ohio middle school football game is now facing multiple charges.
Get off of me! Put your hand behind your back. I will not put my hands behind my back. I'm not friendly. Doing nothing wrong.
Police say the school district in Logan, Ohio requires all spectators to wear a mask or leave, but Alicia Kitts repeatedly refused, telling Officer Chris Smith she has asthma. When Officer Smith told her she was now facing a trespassing charge, police say she put up a fight. They keep struggling as Officer Smith tries to put on handcuffs. Other spectators, all wearing masks, watch.
This is over a mask.
Finally, using a taser on Kitts to take her into custody.
somebody over a mask. Tasing this lady over not wearing a damn mask.
As Kitts is led away, she appears to have a mask bearing an American flag in her pocket.
Most people cheered and sided with the cop and was angry at the woman. And the varying reactions depended upon the type of divisions people are stuck in. For example, a lot of liberals applauded the cop and were angry at the woman because they feel she's a Karen, and it's because of people like her that COVID is spreading. To a logical, enlightened mind, no, that's not true. And she was outside at a sporting event. Nowhere should be mandating masks for outdoor events anyway. That was really asinine. Unfortunately, a lot of people just didn't understand that a lot of these decisions, like that one, is clearly not based on logic, reason, or science. You know, they made these people wear a face mask to watch a game outside, and everyone just complied. And this just goes to show you that they will enforce very dumb laws. But anyway, I digress. A lot of liberals saw her as an entitled, privileged Karen that didn't want to follow rules. And although that could be true to some extent, because of severe mind control, they don't understand that here in this instance, she's not wrong here, and she should have been supported. And then there's a racial aspect where people will feel that these kinds of people in their privilege just don't think the rules apply to them. Once again, maybe it could be true. I don't know this woman, but no, this is not the time for that. That should not have happened to anyone. You don't have to like this woman. No human being, regardless of their race, gender, should be subjected to that. And then there are those people who are a little open-minded, but they're weak. And they say things like, well, okay, you don't believe in the mask, but why not just wear the mask? What's the big deal? It's a small inconvenience. Just comply and you wouldn't get tased. There's so many people that feel that that perspective is reasonable. When no, it's not, because people just have no idea what is happening. It is way over their head. And that's cool for you if that's how you feel. You know, if you don't mind wearing the mask, then yeah, for you, just wear the mask, and it'll save you a lot of trouble if you're a complying coward. But other people who would rather resist, let them resist. They're fighting something unwarranted and unconstitutional, but because people believe that we need to do this for the greater good. Most people totally support what this officer did and what happened to this woman. Some people were even sharing it gleefully. They don't understand, they don't get it, and they think she's the problem. So they'll sit there in their face masks like drones and watch people get hauled off. And while the woman is being tased and screaming, they still don't get it. They're thinking, well, you should have just wore the mask. But for those few who do have a clue, we were warned ahead of time that there is going to be a fascist, totalitarian new world. And here we are. COVID is the reset. But again, a lot of people just never, ever expose themselves to information and clearly just do not understand what is happening right now. And many people probably just don't want to believe it. And it's kind of brilliant, but we are locked in the matrix and we are kept divided. We don't like each other. We're attacking each other. The plan is really high level, brilliant. We're fighting about masks. We're fighting about everything. We're fighting. We're in different schools of thought. And this is on purpose. We're having this done to us deliberately. We don't agree on anything. And that's why we won't fight this. It's a part of their plan. Now, here's a thought and a dream, I guess. What if we all were not racist and we're just high vibrational beings concerned about each other's rights just for the principle, not affected by any emotional biases, but we were high vibrational people concerned about human rights? What if we all do not want black people harassed and beaten or killed by the police? because it's low vibrational demonic activity that needs to stop. High vibrational citizens in connection with Source would not condone this or all lives matter it up. Racism has run its course way too long, and believe me, it's going to be punished. But also today, we should not be laughing at the quote-unquote Karens getting thrown out of stores for wearing masks, praising and cheering the security guards or the police or the people ejecting the people, because if you're doing that, your mind is gone, owned and controlled by the Matrix. You do not get what's happening. If everyone woke up collectively and we were all able to see through the schemes, the lying about COVID, all the stuff going on, if everyone was able to wake up and just have a healthy respect for one another's rights, the system would lose. They'd be like, oh, damn, they're too smart, they're too good, they're too wise, they're too high vibrational, they're phasing us out. But no, people want to be racist, people want to be Trumpers, people want to be following different politicians, political parties, lost in some of these programs. And so, yeah, they own you. And you know what, guys? I am going to cut it short. I have a hell of a lot of voiceovers on deck, and my throat is killing me. I gotta cut it, but I can go on and on and on for days. So what I'm going to try to do, I'm going to try to release more things. I'm going to try to release more blogs so that you can catch the blogs. www.drustorynews.com. I'm going to try to get at you how I can. And I know people want to hear things and know what's going on. There's a lot of good people explaining what's going on, but they're not mainstream. You got to find them. The people with the largest platforms don't know what the hell is happening. You have to find the right channels, and there's groups that can let you in that know what's going on. It's like it really has gone underground. But I'll try to put out as much stuff as I can. I know some people were asking, but yeah, guys, I'm human. I have work to do. I gotta preserve the voice. So I will be putting stuff out. Check all the channels, check the YouTube, check the podcast, check the Facebook page. I will be putting stuff out. So all right, guys, see you in the next one.